In 1958, 250,000 Jehovah's Witnesses filled the Yankee Stadium for 8 days. The energy was electric. The growth was undeniable. Fast forward to 2025, Memphis, Tennessee. Same organization, same message, but only 2,000 people showed up. What happened? Where did everyone go? And why is the Watchtower desperately trying to hide these figures? I'm Dr. K, and today we are exposing the truth behind the 2025 Peer Worship Convention, a story of decline that the Watchtower does not want you to see. What happens when a movement that filled stadiums fails to fill arenas? When a faith that drew 250,000 crowds splits attendance over multiple weekends just to look respectable? Today, we are going into the numbers that the Jehovah's Witnesses does not want you to see. I am Dr. K, a theologian, polemist, international consultant, and author. In addition to other 3 degrees, I hold 2 PhDs and a degree in theology with distinction. But more than credentials, I bring what matters most to this investigation: the ability to analyze how religious organizations use numbers, narratives, and spectacle to shape belief and behavior for good or for harm. Today we are examining a seismic shift in one of the world's most organized religions and what it reveals about the future of institutional faith itself. Once it felt like the whole world showed up. In 1958, a week-long assembly in New York drew a record crowd of 253,000 people, an ocean of believers inside ballparks. The energy was electric, the faith infectious.
As the organization was rapidly growing, Jehovah's organization arranged large international conventions that were held in New York City. In 1958, 250,000 people, can you imagine, overflowed Yankee Stadium and the Polo Grounds. Were any of you there? Well, it's so wonderful. We still have a few people there. It's not that I wasn't in the truth at that time. It's just I wasn't in the world at that time. Well, that amazing convention came just on time. It energized God's people, and we could say it put Jehovah's Witnesses on the map. It was hard to ignore a convention of 250,000 people.
180,000 Jehovah's Witnesses gather in New York for what may well be the biggest religious convention in history. From all over America and from 122 foreign lands come members of the sect. 70,000 fill the grandstand at Yankee Stadium, 22,000 more sit on the field, 25,000 mill outside the park, and across the river, 63,000 more fill the polo grounds to capacity. Nathan H. Knorr presides. He's world leader of the witnesses who believe the end of the world is near. Numbering over 700,000, they are the fastest growing religious movement of modern times.
Today, seats are fewer, the rooms are smaller, and the numbers, while still relatively large, tell a more complicated story. For decades, Jehovah's Witnesses built an unmatched convention machine. In 2019 alone, they staged 5,752 conventions that drew over 14.1 million attendees worldwide. A logistical symphony powered by a global volunteer workforce. Then came 2020, the first time since 1897. All in-person conventions were replaced by a worldwide virtual program. A shocking pivot that would echo into the next 5 years. By 2023, live conventions returned, more than 700 in the US cities, the media reported. But the gatherings were smaller, spread over different weekends. So why empty rooms? Why smaller rooms? These questions are answered by the end of this video. In this deep dive, we are going to explain the reasons behind these changes. The brand, still global, the schedule, still packed, but the feel has shifted. Let's look at the sound of a movement. Conventions are not just meetings. They are reunions, spiritual batteries, a lifeline for witnesses. In 2024 and 2025, the optimism and the polish remain. But the scale, especially in the US and Europe, has been recalibrated. First, let's look at three forces that shaped conventions. 1. Metrics and policy. Most publishers no longer report hours. They stick to participation, while pioneers keep 50 hours per month, auxiliary 30 in some months. That changes how growth and effort feel inside the system. Number 2. Format and logistics. The 2020 virtual pivot proved program can be delivered digitally and made it easier to split one big crowd into several smaller weekends. Number 3. Demographics and environment. In the Americas and Europe, secularization and economic pressure dampened travel and recruitment. Legal battles like in Norway consume focus. Outside the Kingdom Hall, the world is changing fast. In the West, secularization accelerates. Recruitment is tougher. Young people have more choices. Travel costs bite. Legal battles rage. Norway strips recognitions. Courts reverse and appeal. Assets are redeployed. Brooklyn headquarters sold for $340 million. New hubs built. A leaner operation emerges. Let's walk the floor. What does the view floor tell us? Memphis, Tennessee, roughly 2,000 attendees in a mid-sized venue. Auburn, New York, nearly 5,000 attendees. Orem, Utah, 3,500 per language weekend. These aren't failures. They are functional, well-organized events. But they're a far cry from a stadium-filled spectacles of decades past. Volunteers still smile, programs still run on time, baptisms still happen. But the energy, that electric feeling of being part of something massive, has been replaced by something more modest, more manageable, more human-scaled. But rumors are swirling. Pictures are showing that a lot of these meetings have a lot of empty seats. The global religion that filled stadia is failing to fill arenas. But there are exceptions. In August 2025, Rwanda's capital hosted an international convention that packed Amahoro Stadium with 42,530 attendees over 3 days. The energy was palpable, the growth undeniable, the contrast with the Western venues stark. This wasn't just a convention, it was a statement. In a continent where faith still draws stadium-sized crowds, where the message still resonates with younger, enthusiastic demographic. But the question we have to ask is, what changed under the hood? 3 changes quite reshaped the Jehovah's Witnesses conventions. Forces that the organization would rather you did not scrutinize. First, metrics and policy. For over a century, Jehovah's Witnesses measured spiritual efforts in hours, meticulously logged by every publisher. But since late 2023, most no longer report hours at all. Instead, it's a simple tick. Did you participate? Only pioneers, those in full-time ministry, still count hours. Even that bar has dropped from 100 a month in the 70s to 70 by 1999 to 50 today. Auxiliary pioneers, in some months, only 30. This subtle shift changes how growth and effort feels inside the system, making enthusiasm harder to read or question. But the facts are stubborn. 1958 was a stadium record spectacle. 2019 marked a global operation peak. 2020 forced a digital reset. 2023 to 2025 reopened the doors, often to smaller rooms, with rare outliers like in Kigali, Rwanda, where 42,530 packed a stadium, proving that scale still happens, but not just everywhere. But here is the question that matters most. What does this shift reveal about institutional religion in the 21st century? Is this a natural revolution of a maturing movement, or the early sign of structural decline masked by organization efficiency? The Watchtower would want you to believe this is strategic, more intimate, more accessible, more sustainable. Critics, however, see this as masking the massive decline of membership, not just to the rest of the world, especially to critics, but to its members also, painting a picture that the organization is still growing. It has maintained the momentum. Everything is fine. In fact, better than fine. But whispers tell a different story. Seats are empty. From over 250,000 to 2,000 attendees. The truth always lies in the data. And data shows an organization in transition or in decline, adapting, surviving, but no longer growing with the same explosive energy as it did in the 50s. The energy that once filled stadiums. If you were there then or now, you know the feeling. Maybe it was the roar of the stadium in 1958. Maybe it was a quiet prayer in a smaller hall in 2025. Whichever story is yours, tell it. We want to hear from you. What is happening in your region, in your locality, in your community? What are the whispers about the attendance? Where are you at 2025 convention or at big ones years ago? What did you see? Share your experience below, because the numbers speak loudly, but your seat tells the story. Would you need more deep dives of this nature? If you do, like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload such deep dives, you receive a notification. If you want to understand the numerical decline of Jehovah's Witnesses in the recent past, watch this video.